Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular town board meeting for November 27th. I'd ask everybody to please turn off their cell phones and electronic devices, and I'd ask everybody to please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we have 24 people that have signed up to speak. We're going to start with our short-term rental public meeting. I'm going to go right through the order, and everybody will have 3 minutes to let us know your opinion on those. And I will ask Bill Angus to start off.
We've got 24 people, I'll be brief. Has there been a public outcry for this? I've never heard anybody say they wanted something like this in a residential area. Have you considered what the local hotels, how they might suffer with something like this coming in? And have you considered the damage to the property values of houses that are in the area? I find it really strange that we're even looking at this. I mean, the R1, the R stands for residential. It doesn't stand for realtor, it doesn't stand for renter, and it doesn't stand for rich people. And I'm really shocked that this is even being considered because the surrounding community doesn't reflect what you're thinking of putting in there. And it's not like an ordinary B&B. We're talking a place that can take in 40 people. It's more like a hotel. And even more like a hotel, well, hotel of staff, because in the B&B, normally there's somebody living there that owns the house, and they sort of keep an eye on the place, and they try to keep good relationships with the neighbors. When they bought the house, my understanding is they paid over $1 million for it. They had to know what the zoning was. So if you know what the zoning is, why would you come into the community and say, oh, we're going to open up this rental unit? And to me, it's sort of like flouting the law. Now, I know you sent them a notice of violation. Did you get a response to it? Because nothing changed. They got the notice, they know they're in violation, they just continue on. That's not a good sign if that's what they're doing. However, one of the benefits of the slowness in responding was that we got through the summer to see how they're going to behave and how it's going to be. And it really wasn't very good. There was noise going well into the evening and into the night. The people that came there, they're on vacation. Now, they know it's a residential community, but they paid their money to have fun and have a party. It's a big area. A lot of people come in. Sometimes you see 10 to 14 cars in there. They invite their friends. And again, it just disrupts the community. You have the noise level, which was incredible. You have parking on the road, which wasn't there before. And it just seems to me that, again, it doesn't fit the neighborhood at all. And I think one of the important things, too, is that a lot of people, their most important asset is their home. I mean, what are you going to do for the property owners around there when the value of the homes go down? I don't know of a lot of people that are going to buy a house and say, oh, I'm really happy that there's a hotel without staff right across the road. You know, I feel it's important that your job is to represent the people of Lewiston and at the same time protect our assets, which again, the home is our more important asset. I really don't understand the concept that we're doing this. I don't know. Is that the 3 minutes?
That's the 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll stop then. I just say commercial developments do not belong in R1 zone.
Thank you, Bill. Okay. Is it, I'm sorry, Rita Foreman? What? Okay. Can you say your name and your address, please, so Donna can...
Yes, Rita Foreman, F-O-R-M-A-N, and I'm 4744 Lower River Road. I'm next door to the people that we're talking about.
Okay. Well, we're not talking about anybody specifically.
The mic's not on.
Oh,
Okay.
It's on.
We'll do it.
No, it's on.
Do this one? This is a very short comment I'm going to make, very short.
Just speak up,
That's
speak
it.
up.
How's that?
Yep.
Is that better?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, here's just one comment. I am wondering whether, I'm not that familiar with Airbnbs, I've never had the experience of that sort of thing in my life, but I will say one thing, or ask one question. Do the people who have Airbnbs like to have Airbnbs next to the homes that they live in? That's my question. That's it.
Okay. So I'm gonna put you down that you're against. I'm trying to keep score here. Okay. Thank you. Amy Wittriel.
Mr. Supervisor, there's a note on the sign-in sheet. I'd like to let my fellow residents speak ahead of me.
Okay.
We'd like to hear what she has to say first.
Scott Zellner.
Okay, I live at 4714 Lower River Road, and I bought a big house, a couple houses down from the house in question. And I put a lot of money into it. And I think having a short-term rental, or whatever you want to call it, is a detriment to the real estate values. I know that I like this town, and I put money into this town. And when you have a rental, it's just, you know, an absentee property. So I think former speaker said most of the same things that I want to say, but it's hard to believe that in a residential area that you've got a commercial establishment. That's it.
Thank you very much. Sarah Elia.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. So I live at 4647 Lower River Road. And I am for all 4 Airbnbs. We do have a second home to answer your question. And there are Airbnbs not in this area, but around us, and we have never had a problem. So it's been great for the community around us and the businesses, and so I am all for it.
Okay, thank you very much. Harold Hopkins.
I wanted to really address another issue, should I?
Yeah, this is all about, for this, you can stay for the meeting, you'll have an opportunity to speak at the meeting, but this is all about short-term rentals.
All about that Airbnb?
Airbnb short-term rentals.
Okay. Well, then, on that, I would just say I would respect private property rights and the ability of the owner to invest. And there seems like there could be a legitimate regulation issue, but that probably wouldn't even be at the town level.
No, it would absolutely be at the town level.
To,
If there were regulations, if they were allowed and regulated, it would absolutely be at the town level.
so who regulates motels, hotels?
The village does there, right?
We don't have it, but we would if they were.
Yeah, if they were in the town, we would handle it. The village has its own form of government.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so you're for
I'm
short-term?
for private owners developing their property, yes.
Okay.
Address, please.
Oh, okay, hold on a
Address the
second.
residents.
It's Harold Hopkins, 4587 Lower River Road. Vincent Agnello.
Vincent Agnello, 588 Briar Woodland in Lewiston. I have a prepared remark, I'll leave that with you, but I want to highlight a couple things. I've stayed near several Airbnbs, and the rules are all identical. Respect neighbors, be quiet after 9 or 10 p.m., host no parties, and limit the number of guests. Interestingly, following those rules is basically up to me. The owner was never on the premises, anywhere nearby. If I violated the rules, there was nothing they could do. Even if I cannot even be evicted because I paid for the rental. Owners are doing it for the money. If the owners are concerned somewhere else, it's not a vital concern for them. Unfortunately, once the town allows Airbnbs, it cannot control out-of-town buyers offering the service. Do we want to overburden our local law enforcement to be called for noisy parties, smoke issues, and fire pits, illegal parking and littering for which they cannot act? So it comes down to what's the benefit for the town? Whatever minimal benefit exists, all detriments outweigh it, decreasing our quality of life. I looked at the town's homepage. It says, with historic character, attractive neighborhoods, working farms, and scenic vistas, the town of Lewiston is an appealing location and contributes to the excellent quality of life for its residents. Our quality of life will not benefit from short-term rentals. There's another couple of issues regarding short-term rentals. It takes away from rental properties that people need who can't afford to live in Lewiston, that need to rent, can't afford to buy. We're taking away from that, because if I start an Airbnb or a short-term rental, I'm not gonna want a renter to come and pay just a certain amount a month. I'd rather have a whole bunch of short-term people come and paying a lot of money to come here and stay. We're taking away from rentals, we're taking away from housing. Once we get out-of-town buyers coming in and buying a whole bunch of Airbnbs. So if I own 10 or 15 Airbnbs, I'm on the market selling it to some outside buyer, and I don't care what country they're from. Town Niagara is hosting an Airbnb or a short-term rental. Their proposed law says that rental properties will not be permitted to be rented for fewer than 30 consecutive days. And it's going to prohibit it in any residential zone. It has to be in a commercial zone. The supervisor there said most significant issue driving the creation and implementation of the new law is the quality of life for Niagara residents. Our community does not need short-term rentals, but if they're going to exist, they must not be in residential zones. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to leave that with me? Yes, please. Thank you. Francine Del Monte.
Good evening, Francine Del Monte, 4069 Lower River Road. For the benefit of the audience here, I want them to know that I appeared before the town board at a work session a few weeks ago expressing my opposition against allowing short-term rentals like Airbnbs or VRBOs in the town of Lewiston. I stressed to the board members that their decision on this issue will have negative repercussions and consequences long after their service on the board is over, and they have an obligation to protect the residential quality of life that draws many of us to Lewiston. From what I understand and I've read, Lewiston has a moratorium in place banning short-term rentals, but fails to enforce it. Please enforce it. No exceptions allowed. These types of short-term rentals do not belong next to my house or anyone else's. Lewiston Town Board members need look no further than our neighboring town of Niagara to see the law its town officials put into place in January of 2023. As Mr. Agnello just acknowledged, that law acknowledges the negative impacts to health, safety, and welfare to the town of Niagara and prohibits short-term rental uses in agricultural, single-family residential, single and two-family residential, multiple family residential, and cluster residential overlay districts. Moreover, New York state law permits the town board to put a definitive end to non-conforming uses even if they existed lawfully at the time the town code was changed. Visitors that want these types of accommodations need look no further than the village to access them. As a town that includes the village, we've done our part to satisfy those needs. You have an obligation to not diminish or destabilize our lovely town, and you have an obligation to enforce the law, not cherry pick or issue special permit uses. Nothing. Communities everywhere, nationally, internationally, are rising up against these short-term rentals. This is our time to put an end to them. Please do not let the profits of a few at the expense of the many. Thank you.
Thank you, Francie. Jenna Copeland?
I'll wait until the end as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dan Marone?
Hello, Dan Marone, 4736 Lower River Road.
Your residence, not your place of business?
4736 Lower River Road. It has been a little over a year since my wife and I first visited the historic property at Lower River Road. Since then, we've spent over $1 million and hundreds of hours of our time to purchase the home and improve the property. We purchased tens of thousands of dollars worth of services from several local businesses and contractors to perform work on the property. We've attended several town of Lewiston meetings and had conversations with many community members to discuss ideas about how our property can be utilized for the greater benefit of the community. We've hosted families from right here in Lewiston and others from around the world, driving tens of thousands of dollars into the Lewiston economy. In that same time, our loudest opposition has refused to work with us on any level to discuss possible resolutions to issues. Hired a law firm to send threatening letters to us, the town, and our property managers. They filed legal documents in an effort to prevent us from working directly with town leaders. They've harassed workers who we have hired to perform work on our property. They've called the Lewiston Town Police over a dozen times on our guests, intentionally disrupting our guests and wasting the police department's time, as not one call has resulted in any citation or formal action. Those are the facts. You can decide who the true nuisance to the community is. I ask the town board to implement regulations that allow responsible owners who care about being a good member of this community to operate short-term rentals. Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Ryan Harden? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Brian Arden, it seems that
Your address?
my address is 1927 Youngstown Lockport Road. It seems that most people are here against one particular Airbnb. I've been running a successful Airbnb for probably close to a year. All three of my neighbors have my cell phone, a personal cell phone number. If anything's gone wrong with it or had any questions or anything, I keep my grass cut, I keep my taxes paid. I do everything that's asked of me. I've not had one complaint. Everybody's been happy. I turned a house that was pretty much falling down into a nice, respectable property. And I just feel like if there was a reason for, you know, I've transformed a bad property into something that's no longer that way, and gotten a lot of compliments and stuff. And the neighbors are very happy, and like I said, they all have my personal cell phone number if they need anything. So
Thank you very much. Chuck Barber.
Hello, Chuck Barber, 5106 Country Club Trail. I'm also here to talk about supporting the Airbnbs. I'm an Airbnb owner in the town of Lewiston. I live in the town of Lewiston. I was a business owner in the town of Lewiston, so I believe strongly in the prestige and the value of the area. I believe that we had the opportunity to make many enhancements to an existing property in Lewiston and make it much more attractive in the residential neighborhood that it's situated in. And I believe we bring people in who take use of all of our services, from the festivals to the businesses, and we bring in a lot more traffic that way, in a positive way. I believe that there's many apartments and rental units throughout the village and town of Lewiston, so we have a lot of people who are not true property owners already in this community. And I don't feel that it brings a sense of problems that are being presented here today as the Airbnb. I actually would argue that having an Airbnb renter is better than a potential troublesome long-term renter because they eventually leave. Many Airbnbs are based on the renter. We have had no negative experiences in about the year that we've been running the property. Everything has been positive. We've had no issues or concerns. I understand that there's different formats here, and I do appreciate that maybe some rules and regulations need to be formulated for guidance, but I am here to say that we are in support of the Airbnb in the community.
Chuck, what road is your property?
Lewiston Road. Lewiston Road.
Thank you. Janet Rowe?
My name is Janet Rowe. I live at 4773 East Eddy Drive, and I am against the Airbnbs in our communities, in our residential areas. And I'd like to cite a study that was done by the Northeastern Global News, and it was published in the Public Library of Science. And it talks about the effects of Airbnbs on the character and the demographics of neighborhoods. The study found that investors in Airbnb rental houses depletes the housing supply, shutting out potential home buyers, and home buyers contribute and support the community that they live in. The noise and disruption of an Airbnb in a neighborhood impacts the quality of life and the cohesiveness of the neighborhood. Residents are uncomfortable with transient strangers moving in and out of their neighborhood. Residents lose a sense of privacy and security. Houses, fences, outbuildings, and landscaping are not maintained due to absentee ownership. If the tourist season is difficult, the Airbnb houses are left empty for periods of time, leading to the lack of maintenance, and residents again lose a sense of security. It is my belief that the disadvantages of Airbnbs in neighborhoods grossly outweigh the advantages of having Airbnbs in our neighborhood. I believe that the Airbnbs belong in commercial areas and not in our neighborhoods. Thank you. Can I support this? Can I submit this
Yes.
for the record?
Well, Mrs. Rowe, you signed in Dale as well. Dale?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I thought we just had to sign.
Okay. Amy and Corvia?
Good evening. My name's Amy Ann Corvia, and we live on Escarpment Drive, 1077, town of Lewiston. We happen to live next to a home that operates a B&B and an Airbnb with live-in owners. We documented the issues we had with the situation in writing at your September meeting, so I won't repeat those concerns again. We have realized since then that being in an RD1 zoning area, no short-term rentals are allowed. This B&B has operated for approximately 3 to 4 years, although our neighbor told us they had a permit. We have just now found out from the town directly that there was in fact never a permit for this business. The business operated through the ban and was recently sent to court for violation. Throughout the many communications we had with the town regarding our complaints, not one staff member mentioned that this wasn't in the proper zoning area to be operating to begin with. In fact, each person we spoke with was aware that this existed and was operating. During that time, it was mentioned that we should collect license plate numbers or try to get a receipt showing guests had paid. This was told to us by zoning, code enforcement. We are not sure why this took 4 years to be enforced, though we're glad that it is at this time some kind of enforcement. The point of zoning laws is that densely populated areas that are completely residential should not have businesses operating within neighborhoods. The houses are very close, and this clearly does not work well. If a variance of any kind is issued, it should be with neighbors' consent. Finally, as tax-paying residents, we expect that the existing zoning laws be enforced, and that for maintaining the quality and character of our neighborhoods in the town of Lewiston, the code, and therefore the zoning, should not change. We hope that when board members vote, they remember to protect residents' interests, and the character and charm of our town, which is why we all live here to begin with. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. John Murniak.
John Murniak, 716 Ridge Road. First off, Steve, I'm impressed. You said you couldn't get people to turn out for something.
We tried.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Listen, you know, I think what part of, you know, I've advocated for small business in this town for the last couple of years of doing something to address that topic, okay, that subject. This is really a small business that we're talking about in this Airbnb, but that's beside the point. I've given this a lot of thought, you know, not that I would stay at an Airbnb, I have no interest in that or anything like that, but the thought that my neighbors, okay, could sell property and could turn it into an Airbnb where I've got a revolving door of people coming in and out of this that I don't know. You know, do I have to protect my property more than I am right now? You know, where we know our neighbors, you know your neighbors, you know what their time frame is. When my neighbor comes home from 11 to 7 shift, I'm not out there in the morning making a lot of noise or anything like that because I know he's trying to sleep. And, you know, when my other neighbor might have a party with 6 or 7 or 10 people over, I'm not cutting the grass, you know, I'm respectful, okay? But how do you deal with people you don't know that are coming in? Who knows what I mean, maybe they're coming there to see the sights, to be out and to just staying there overnight. I understand that part of it, but, you know, I'm hearing from people, you know, parties going on, loud noise, calling the police and all of that. I don't want that next to my house. None of you guys want it next to your house.
I have one next to my house.
Well, Steve, you know,
I'm just clarifying.
then you know, okay? But the point is, you know, I'm gonna go back to what I said at the beginning, you know, of a small business, you know? Right now, you know, the way I understand it, if someone complains about a business, you know, then, you know, code enforcement can go and basically close that operation down, whatever it is. I know it happened to me, okay? But, you know, is that gonna be, somebody goes through the whole process of getting an Airbnb up and running and all this and advertising and stuff, and all of a sudden now there's a number of complaints. What is code enforcement gonna do? You're gonna shut them down after these people invested all this money and everything? I think that, you know, the town, you guys should just say, no more, and the ones that are operating, as far as I'm concerned, get rid of them.
Thank you, Mr. Murniak. Michelle, I'm sorry, Gelucci? Gentalucci. I was close.
I live at 636 Japora Drive in the town. I've lived on and off in Lewiston for about 25 years, and I've always been really proud to live here. When I first moved here, I won't tell you what decade that was, but someone asked me how I felt about the tax contract. And my response to them was, our services are worth the tax. Services are excellent. I lived in a place that had a lot of trees, a lot of leaves. I call you guys up, and the day you come and take them away. So the fact that I'm standing here in front of you now talking about short-term residents or short-term rentals in my neighborhood, it puzzles me and it terrifies me. I'm puzzled that we're even talking about it. I mean, I hear all these people, it seems to me the view's not worth the climb, but more importantly for me, it's scary. When I think about the house next door to me, it's about 35 feet away. Transient neighbors, they come in, stay a couple days, have a party, don't have a party, leave, come back, somebody else comes in. I can't express to you the negative impact that will have on my quality of life, on my financial well-being, my emotional well-being, my safety and security in my own home. It changes everything for me. It changes everything about the town of Lewiston. So I ask you to enact a ban, pass a law, do whatever it is that you need to do to stop. I've always felt valued as a member of this community, and I'd like to remain so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it Holly Fights?
No, but,
Rice, is it
no,
right?
it's Fiore.
Fiore, I'm sorry.
Sorry, my last are a little different. Okay, thanks for hearing everybody out here today. Yes. Our house is at 5153 Lewiston Road. I personally tend to believe that people who hate Airbnbs never stayed in one before. My husband and I took an old, long abandoned, unlivable, mold-covered eyesore of a property and invested tens of thousands of dollars into it, making it not only functional, but a very attractive place inside and out. My welcome book has about 20 pages of local businesses in Lewiston that I recommend people visit, and many of those have taken me up on those. I've heard Airbnbs are party houses by many of you today, according to letters in the mail that were sent out as well. I can assure you that the man and woman who brought their 3 small children to Niagara Falls for the first time were not there to party, or that the woman and her new husband who were passing through on their honeymoon trip were not here to party, along with the people who were also here for a last-minute trip to attend a funeral were not here to party. I personally have stayed in about 20 Airbnbs over the last handful of years, and it's the only way I'm going to travel anymore. I've never had a party there. Instead, it became a place that my mom, my nana, my sisters, their husbands, and their children could all be together under one roof. A luxury that you can't really afford in hotels if you're traveling with large amounts of people. Large amounts of people is dramatic, I mean like 8. It quickly becomes uneconomical for families to stay in hotels and be able to enjoy their time together with their loved ones. If there is so much concern with short-term rentals, there should be just as much concern with long-term rentals. As somebody else said, they're much harder to get out. One bad apple spoils the bunch, and a ban on short-term rentals in the area does exactly that, while completely ignoring the benefits it brings to the community. Banning short-term rentals would really be jumping the gun or even attempting to put any sort of regulation in place, which they have done in places all over. So that is all I have.
Thank you very much. Sarah Wechter. So for those people who don't know Sarah, Sarah was recently elected to the town board, and she will be sworn in on January 1st. So this is Sarah Wechter. And we're glad to have her. Unfortunately, we'll be losing Mr. Guy.
So, very excited to come onto the board on the 1st, but today I'm here as a resident. So I'm Sarah Wechter, 4791 Oak Ridge Lane. So in full disclosure, my husband and I, we do own an Airbnb or a short-term rental property. We do own it in Cayuga Lake. If you are familiar with Cayuga Lake, we are in the town of Jerusalem. It is a resort community. So it is my belief that in that area, short-term rentals have existed for ever since people have lived on the lake, because it is a resort property. As far as listening to everybody today, I'm hearing a lot of people that do not want to have them in their residential districts or in their residential neighborhoods. I'm hearing that it puts a lot of issues as far as noise levels, absentee ownership, damage to property values. I myself do have some hesitations with having Airbnbs, or I should call them short-term rentals. Short-term rentals in residential districts. I come from it from the side of that. I believe that we will work with absentee ownership. That's a huge issue. I believe that it will put a burden on our resources for enforcement of codes. So it's something that if the town decides to go ahead, I think that's going to be a very huge issue as far as where's the money going to come from to enforce and police. I also look at the affordable housing issue and then also the corporate ownership of properties. That is something that definitely as an individual, and I'm not sure, but I'm getting the feel that people don't want to have the corporate ownerships of short-term rentals. However, I do believe that short-term rentals should be allowed in commercial districts. I think that they should be allowed in your business districts. I think that's an appropriate use. But also too, if it so be it that this is how the town wishes to move forward, I'm a true believer that you are only as good as your policy. So I strongly suggest that anything that comes forward, if you look at other communities, what they are doing, it adopts things that we believe that are going to work for our community. We draft a piece of code enforcement legislation, whatever you want, or code legislation law, and that's when I think that we absolutely have the community's input. Because it's one of those things you want to make it good and fair for everybody, because on another hand, when people buy a property, it is their property. But again, not a huge fan right now of short-term rentals in residential districts. Thank you.
And just so everybody knows, against the popular opinion of some people, the decision will not be made until after the first of the year. So Sarah will be a part of that decision. So you can stop the false rumors. Alex Brennan.
How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you, Alex?
Thanks for hearing me out. So I've, 4895 North 5th Street, Lewiston. That's my residence, and I also operate short-term rental out of there to supplement my income. So I guess there's a lot of talks of different housing here. I'm just going to speak from my own experience and why I have an Airbnb. I've used Airbnb as a supplementary income source since 2017. I've lived in some expensive areas, and that includes Lewiston. I'm from Lewiston originally, but I moved to a ski town after college, and Airbnb allowed me to rent out a spare room and afford to live in that ski town while making a living doing what I like to do. When I moved back to Lewiston, I found a spot on 5th Street that I thought was awesome. It was a great property. I desire to live there one day. Airbnb allows me to afford to own the property now, invest in it, improve it, while having families come in and benefit the local area. I do believe that there should be some regulation on it, but I don't think a blanket statement based on maybe one or two problem properties, if they are problems, I don't even know, is reasonable. I think it should be a responsibly done process. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Thank you.
I'm for Airbnbs. Yeah. You want to talk after?
Is it Taylor Crystal?
It is.
Okay. The last name, I couldn't get the last name.
Hello guys, my name's Taylor Crystal. I live at 125 South 5th Street in Lewiston. I'm a co-owner of LVR, stands for Lewiston Vacation Rentals. So, I have you guys ready to hate my guts in this room right now. I have four I have 4 short-term rentals, to be clear. I've been been sharing my home, hosting homes since 2014 in the village. I have 550 reviews online. We carry a 4.99 rating out of 5. 40% of our income's all repeat guests after the years. Families that come back, they want to see the area again. Most of our people that come and see the area are they have family here already, and they have nowhere else to stay. So I'm going to dive in why a management company. We use it for owners. They have everyday lives, they're busy. They want to use a management company to ensure communication with the guests. If there is problems that arise, if there is like a lawn that's getting out of hand, or garbage that's not being taken out, or any issues that is not being solved, that locally we have a staff here, we have people around, I'm around, my partner's around, we have people around, we're available 24/7. When we get a new property, we go introduce ourselves to the neighbors, we make friends, we give each other our numbers, we try to go into their houses, and get to know our neighbors. I mean, we understand, that there could be issues that arise, but we're there. Sorry, we hosted. We just hit 1,000 reservations, totaling 6,000 guests. We had 2 minor incidents out of the 1,000 guests. We had 2 incidents we had to contact Airbnb with. My second stay ever that we hosted, the group used a coffee table as a bottle opener. And I'm like, what am I getting myself into? This is gonna go south. Like, this is 2014. I mean, what is going on? I just took this dilapidated house that was falling down and put $100 grand into it, and right in the village, and like, what's going on? And I contacted the guests, and they were so responsive. They wanted to pay right away. They felt bad. They didn't think it was going to leave a mark. 3 minutes already?
3 minutes.
All right. Well,
you're for it.
I am for it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Abigail Capicilli, did I say that right?
You did.
Okay.
That's rare.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Abigail. I live at 4923 Big Vista Drive. I'm a local realtor. I've been an agent for 8 years, and I heard a lot of people mentioning how this would negatively impact property values, and it's actually the opposite. It helps them, and I see it firsthand. And when you allow people to use their home to its full potential or full earning potential, and then you want to sell it, it's actually worth more, and it broadens your pool of buyers who would be interested. So, I mean, I've done my research, and Wall Street Journal, Forbes, UPenn, plenty of resources that have said that this is obviously a good impact and positive on property values. I actually personally sat on the committee. I lived in the village of Lewiston before last year, and sat on the committee to make the regulations for short-term rentals in the village of Lewiston. And I would encourage you guys to form a committee here. I think it was great to hear like opinions of what other people had to say, other ideas, and from every which way, both sides of the spectrum. And I think that it really can help form what we need here, different than the village. And if you guys are willing to form a committee, I'd love to sit on it if you can. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Lynn Ross.
Hi. 300 South 5th Street.
My name's Lynn Ross. I was born and raised in the town of Lewiston. My parents were also born and raised here, and my family has a decades-long record of involvement in this community. My sister and I volunteered in the town of Lewiston Parks and Recreation Department, where my dad served as the director for 10 years. My mother operated a preschool in Lewiston for almost 50 years, where we also volunteered. My parents honorably and tirelessly served hundreds, maybe thousands of young people in Lewiston. All of that is by way of saying that I have a long history and deep roots in this community. I left Lewiston to go to college and graduate school, and then I moved to Washington, D.C., but I still consider Lewiston my home, and I plan to retire here. In 2005, I purchased a home on Creek Road Extension with the idea of bringing my son, who was then 5, to Lewiston each summer so he could enjoy small-town life like I did. We spent every summer and the holidays in Lewiston, and my son, now 23, embraces Lewiston as his second home. After many years of leaving my house on Creek Road empty during the non-summer months, I decided that it would make sense to rent it out. As most people know, houses left fallow tend to become unhealthy. Rental income also paid property taxes and utilities. High property taxes. After about 5 years of long-term rentals with varying degrees of problems, delinquent payments, property damage, specious insurance claims, a friend mentioned that she had a good experience renting her property through Airbnb. With my mother as my co-host, we started our Airbnb business in September of 2017. And until this year, we have heard nothing negative about our business, its operation, or its effects on this community. In fact, I can tell you that hosting hundreds of visitors has been nothing but rewarding. Most of the guests have been families. My Creek Road neighbors have used the house for family overflow during the holidays. And guests almost uniformly comment on what a wonderful community Lewiston is. Fishermen wanting to try their luck on the Niagara River have stayed at the house. People who want to visit family in Lewiston are repeat guests, and tourists from around the world stay during visits to Niagara Falls. On more than one occasion, guests have called Lewiston a hidden gem. During these stays, hundreds of guests over 6 years, there has been only one complaint about a party. Interestingly, a group of young women from Niagara Falls who came and stayed in the house and broke our rules, and they were asked to leave. From what I can discern, the recent movement to ban Airbnbs in our community after years of contributions to tourism, small business, and local family reunions emanates from several loud voices who seem to want to control what their neighbors can and cannot do with their property.
Wrap it up real quick.
My neighbors are not among those, by the way, on Creek Road. So short-term rentals should be reasonably regulated, and I believe it contributes to the tax base. All property owners must pay property taxes. They pay property taxes and school taxes. They pay income tax to New York State. And cleaning services and lawn care businesses are provided and supported by Airbnbs. And one can only assume that short-term guests shop in Lewiston.
Do you want to leave that with us?
Oh, is my time up? I didn't
Yes,
know.
yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought you heard me, you buzzed, sorry. Thank you very much.
I'm for it.
I got that. Amy Whittrill.
There's someone else who came who wanted to speak.
Yeah,
Please.
go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry, we came here today with the Scouts because they're doing their community service and they're learning about how government works. So I was not aware of the agenda. I would have come anyway, but...
Please state your name and your address.
Yes. My name is Peter Nagy. I live in the village of Lewiston on 140 South 5th Street, Lewiston, New York. And my wife and I have been running an Airbnb short-term rental since 2017. We applied for, before any of the regulations came, we applied for permission from the village of Lewiston and received permission to run an Airbnb. We had a license. Now we're reapplying for short-term rentals. Anyway, we've had, along with none of the positive experiences in the several years that we've been running the Airbnb. There have been no complaints from any of our neighbors. I have an elderly neighbor who actually relishes the fact that she gets to see all these people from all over the world. We've had people from China, France, Germany, all over the United States, Canada, who have come to Lewiston, either going to the various festivals, going to weddings, class reunions, etc., and they've all been wonderful. I've never noticed not one. We live in the home too, so they've never been loud. They've always been respectful of our rules. And one thing that I don't know if anyone's aware, Airbnb does have a vetting process for their guests. If they get negative reviews, if they have criminal records, whatever, they are not allowed to use Airbnb. They're just not allowed to do it. They get taken off of the Airbnb and they're not allowed to make reservations. Also, the hosts have a say in whether the person was a good guest or not a good guest. And we have a rating system. We also get rated. My wife and I have been super hosts, which is we've got very high ratings for the last 3 years. And subsequently, we've had a wonderful experience. Our neighbors had a wonderful experience. And what people tend to forget is people who run these short-term rentals are really ambassadors for the town of Lewiston, the village of Lewiston, and the area, because we give them a one-on-one type of experience where they get to meet people from the town, they get to enjoy our services, our restaurants. We recommend various places to eat, and it's a really terrific. It's been a terrific relationship with the guests that have come to our home, and for us to get a little piece of the world coming to us, rather than us having to travel. Anyway, I think it's a very positive thing for the town, very positive thing for the village, and I'm all for the Airbnbs. Yes, I think there should be some regulations, but as far as safety regulations and so forth like that, yes, I think those should be in place. But other than that, I think that people who have short-term rentals should be allowed to continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I have somebody online that would like to speak. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Carrie Berge, are you there? You're muted right now, Carrie. Carrie, are you there? I love technology.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Kids? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there's some feedback going, give me just a moment. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I apologize for that. I had to be on the computer to hear you on Facebook, and I have Zoom on my phone. All right. My name is Carrie Berge. I live at 4722 Porter Center Road. I have been an Airbnb host since 2017. I initially began to get a little extra income, and I actually rented 3 of my 4 rooms. I lived there and hosted internationals from all over the world. And it was an absolutely amazing experience. I got to share the town of Lewiston with them, all the local wineries, Niagara Falls. It was great. For us, COVID changed things because we couldn't share spaces, so we did convert to a full house rental, which did change the dynamics, and we did have I call it learning curve. In short, we are in support of the short-term rentals because of the benefits that it has, not only for us, but also the neighborhood. We employ clean people, warm people, so we take care of the property, we're super hosts, and we really care about the community. My co-host who lives right next door to the property, and nothing goes unnoticed there. Hello?
Yep, we're listening.
it's important that
I think we lost it. Okay. Well, I think we got the gist that Carrie is for. Okay. Amy?
Amy Woodrill, 4726 Lower River Road. We've heard a lot of thoughtful comments by many of the Airbnb operators tonight, and I think it supports comments that I made in a recent letter that one size doesn't fit all. And where there is a compelling public interest, and by the way, I was impressed with the Airbnb rules by the Creek Road Extension Airbnb that says no parties. I was very impressed. And given the size and the type of clientele, that might be just the kind of thing that I would, with the support of neighbors, I would certainly encourage for a variance recommended from the zoning board to the town board to approve some of those where there's a benefit, where there's a house that's empty or dilapidated and a mark on the community. I'm very disappointed at the wholesale lack of communication from this board about this meeting held on Cyber Monday between Thanksgiving and Christmas after having been studied for 5 months. I haven't heard any rumors, but I think when you don't even have the scheduling of this meeting on the agenda and move to the agenda and put an ad in the bottom left-hand corner on a page of the Sentinel that I thought I read until one of my neighbors said, hey, did you see the notice about the meeting in the Sentinel? I didn't even notice it. So if you're keeping score of people for and against, just based on this one meeting tonight, it was poorly publicized and scheduled on a not convenient time of year, given that the moratorium has taken place for 5 months so far.
And the Cyber Monday would have been a problem, sorry.
Well, the Monday after Thanksgiving, and, you know, we've got a corner ad that shows up, no letter from the board, no coverage in the Sentinel, in contrast to, you know, Town of Niagara last year.
So front page of the Gazette?
Yes, which I didn't see either, because it was the day before Thanksgiving, and someone called me about it. But in any case, I think if you know, over the last 5 months, if you have had the opportunity to talk to 6,000 households in Lewiston and ask them if they'd like to have an Airbnb next door, or some more significant population that could be here tonight. One of my neighbors, actually 2 of my neighbors, because of work, could not be here tonight. I think you get a strong sense for how the town writ large feels.
Thank you, Amy. If you want to submit that, you can.
I do have some written comments that I will submit.
Okay, thank you. And let's get back here. Jenna Copeland.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good, thanks. My name is Jenna Copeland, 4736 Lower River Road. I would like to share with you testimonials of the many guests that my short-term rental has welcomed into the community of Lewiston in the last 4 months. These are real examples of the uniqueness that short-term rental properties bring to a town where there are no hotel accommodations. These testimonials support local business, restaurants, local events like festivals and tournaments, and most importantly, allow out-of-town family and the opportunity to visit their local family members. So I have a packet here for everyone to take a look at. In addition to my short-term rental, there are approximately a dozen short-term rentals that have been successfully operating in the town for several years without being a burden to the community. There's not hundreds, there's not thousands, there's just over 10. All of them demonstrating a strong contribution to the area with guest ratings that are almost perfect. So when guests come here, they're rating. Everyone is rated. We are rated as hosts, and guests are rated as guests to keep everyone on the up and up. We all hope to have a neighbor that keeps a clean and well-maintained property. That's any neighbor, anywhere, that's the goal. Short-term rentals must keep a well-maintained property to be successful. Perfectly maintained properties are the expectation. In a world where everything ends up in a landfill lately, I invested a lot of money in a historic home in hopes to preserve and honor its history. The income from home sharing will allow me to preserve this historic home and this strong community asset. Professionals like realtors say that this increases the value of homes in the community. It does not decrease the values. The town of Lewiston already has noise and nuisance ordinances that apply to short-term rentals as well. If there's a bad short-term rental, it will be shut down. Just like a bad restaurant that fails health inspections would be shut down and go out of business for poor quality and services, ordinances are in place to weed out bad apples. A bad short-term rental is not going to be around because of the way that commerce works. Naysayers have cried wolf about parties and frat house mentality. There have been many allegations and claims made by my neighbor that all have been false. On more than a dozen occasions, law enforcement had to come out for false claims with no violations or citations issued. My neighbor could have called me or my property managers, who, by the way, myself, Abby, Taylor, we are there every single day. We are not ghost owners, ghost managers. We work our, excuse my language, butts off all summer long to make sure that everything was on the up and up.
Jenna, thank you very much. And I know you spoke before at previous meetings. We're very aware of where you stand. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And if you have something that you want to submit, you can give it to Donna.
Yep, I do have one more, and so I am in support of responsible regulations for this, and so I have those listed here, as well as over 100 supporters of local businesses, people that can't fit into this room tonight.
Can we still submit documents after? Or?
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can email Donna.
Okay.
In the town, and then also, as Jenna spoke before, Francine spoke before. Anybody who wants to come to either a work session is at the end of the meeting for public comments. And any board member, or excuse me, regular town board meeting, the beginning and the end, you can speak. Okay. We wanted to provide this to get more people to speak, because it seemed to be the same people were speaking, right?
Okay.
So we wanted to get more people's opinions on this. So anybody could submit something to Donna. Several people have. It goes to Donna, it goes to me, and I disperse it to the board members, or Donna will disperse it to all the board members. So anyway, but go ahead.
I just have one quick question. I didn't hear you. Where do you live?
I'm Jenna Copeland, and it's 4736 Lower River Road is the house that.
You live there?
I don't live there. I live on Cuba Island in Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to let everybody know, we appreciate you being here. There's going to be no action whatsoever taken tonight. So I thank you for coming. That'll end our public information forum, and we're going to move on with the regular town board meeting. So any students who didn't get their paper signed, if you want to come up, we'll sign them. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute break.
Good, how you doing? I'm retired, but I'm working harder than I've ever been. Okay. definitely after the end. I've listened to what I invested in, and I know I still make an application. Okay. And we're going away December 7th, but after December 7th, let me give you my number.
Yeah, the easiest way of doing this, call the office whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Schedule an appointment with you.
And I'll come into your office, right? Which is where?
Right into the hall, all the way to the other end of the hall.
Oh, it's in this building.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
Well, let me check with him first, okay?
You know,
I can certainly take
yeah. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Steve's backyard, oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not like you. I started early. Well, they were the day I was here. But I had complaints saying they weren't. But anyway, that's what I'm studying. I muzzle them, yeah. Yeah, I came down that road and I'm like, holy cow. And I was curious if you had to stand there. Because he was huge when he got He's making the road wide because he wants 2 lanes available because the driveway's so long. Working on that. That's huge driveway. You gotta engineer it. Here's where that big buck came from. Who knows? It was heading towards you there.
We're gonna get back started with the meeting.
Good job, Mr. Supervisor.
Yeah, thank you. Let everybody leave. Okay. Back on. I want to thank everybody for participating in that. I would ask for the agenda approval. I know the attorney, Al, you wanted to add an executive session?
Executive session, yeah, for consultation with attorney, legal matter. We won't be taking any action on that.
I know Donna wanted to add, I know under her department head statements, we want to address the microphone system in here that is horrendous. So I'll put that under Donna. Does anybody else have anything to add? Shall I ask for agenda approval as amended?
What, do you have this resolution?
I thought it was under, okay, it'll be under Councilman Morial for resolution for the adoption and implementation of standardized equipment at the Town of Lewiston Water Pollution Control Center. That'll be under Councilman Morial. And with that, I will ask for an approval as amended.
Make the motion.
We have a motion, and a second, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Resident statements. We didn't do a separate sign-in for resident statements. Is there anybody here that would like to speak about other matters? Other matters other than the short-term rentals? Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm Steve Newman, 4611 Model City Road. I just bought my parents' house. First off, I'd like to apologize. I let my emotions get the best of me at the planning meeting, and because it's an emotional topic, with the storage unit being built across the street from my home, in between two residential homes. I've scoured the code. I've spoke with the building inspector and everything. There are some things that do address outdoor storage in the town code. I'm asking that, could we, before we get into any of it, can we have a public hearing on it so us as neighbors can have our voices heard to the actual town board before it's actually approved? I don't know the processes. I'm no lawyer. All I know is I'm going by guidance of what I've been told by people in the town. It's not as black and white as it may seem as what's going on. There's a lot of concerns, and we understand that it meets the building department's codes, but anything like outdoor storage, anything in there that has outdoor storage is 200 feet, yet the lot is only 83 feet wide. I can keep going on my concerns of it, but my neighbors also have concerns as well. We're just asking the town board for a public hearing on the matter, that's all.
Okay.
At this point, unless, like I said, I can give you all my concerns.
I mean, feel free, this is your time to talk. If you want to give us your concerns, that's fine. If you're just asking for a public hearing, nothing's been scheduled yet, nothing's been put on the agenda.
Correct.
So there's been no decision made as far as that goes.
Okay.
So whatever you want to do.
So really, it's just, my neighbors aren't here today. Obviously, the planning board made their decision on Thursday evening, and this is my next step to possibly get some sort of resolution to this. I don't want to say, we've tried to work, but the situation with the Airbnb, I would much rather have an Airbnb in my neighborhood versus a commercial storage unit. If that makes sense.
I think maybe what he should do is use this time to make a record of his concerns. Then once it comes before the town board, he'll have a second opportunity to provide those.
Okay. Well, go, like I said, you're free to speak. You got 3 minutes.
So I went back in the minutes. So let me give you an example. I left for the military in 2007. So anything that happened from 2007 to 2019 in the town, I was unaware of. Okay. When I bought my parents' house, I didn't even think never even occurred to me to look at the zoning because it's always been residential in that area at that time. Except my side of the road was light industrial. We could all get into an argument about what's occurred in the past with the town and why it turned zoned. That's a whole other topic. In the minutes of 2011, on March 14th, when the town decided that they were going to adopt, well, they've already, from what I gather, a comprehensive plan and zoning, and that's required through the state and everything, that things need to be followed. With that being said, it also says in here that none of the districts were going to be changing. Phase 2, the board adopts the update, which would go hand in hand with the original comprehensive plan, would be changing the zoning districts. Comp plan does not replace the existing documents. The town needs to modernize the zoning code. The existing one is from the 1960s. The proposed changes are mostly procedural items. I guess my biggest question would be, why did it turn to business when every single lot that was there was a residential home?
I can't answer that. Nobody on the board here was on the board then. So I was just making questions. That I'm going to go back and look at which one is right here.
On top of that, as the town code reads right now, in the light industrial, R1, I do believe it is, or L1, I1 in the town codes, there's no, it's prohibited residential use. But there's homes there. Well, I understand that it's going to be grandfathered and using common sense. I'm not, that's not an argument there. I understand common sense. But as of right now, the town code is written, somehow we got to adopt that, because on the map, on the zoning map, it says I-1 housing permitted, and then you go into the actual town code where it breaks down and it says not permitted. So there's some things there. There's also in the noise ordinance, the town code. And these are just things I'm bringing up, the points of the town codes contradict itself, because one of them says 8 a.m. and the other one says 7 a.m. So, I don't know what needs to happen to get that updated, but once again, that's all logical, common sense, probably clerical errors, whatever, overlook.
You're about to run out of time. You're more than welcome to come in and talk to me and set up an appointment. I'll gladly talk to you about it.
Perfect.
Mr. Berniak will tell you, I'm available. I've spoken to him.
Right.
So, yeah, if you want to come in and talk about it, and then, we can talk about scheduling a public hearing.
Yeah, just one thing, it's an unfortunate situation, and I don't like being in the situation, but at the same time, I don't want to have to look at a storage unit out my kitchen window every morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amy?
Just questions. Could you please issue, this was, first of all, Mr. Guyban couldn't speak for the board, but I know he wanted to get this done by year end. That's what he told me a couple of weeks ago. So I think informed speculation was reasonable. This was the first that I heard tonight that people could come to the board at subsequent work sessions or town board meetings to express their opinions. So my request is whether or not the board would consider, and maybe a letter from you, Mr. Supervisor, in the Sentinel, explaining to people what's going on and encouraging their input, because that small ad, you know, really doesn't clarify, the ban doesn't apply to the village, it applies to the town, here's what we're doing, here's our anticipated timeframe. Just so that, in the absence of, you know, Sentinel staff, resources to do this, that there's a little more initiative in soliciting the public communication. Because we certainly heard from, if there are 10 Airbnb operators, we heard from almost every one of them or a family member of them. And then the second question, I know that one of the operators has appeared at not one but 2 board meetings, appeared again tonight, her husband appeared tonight, her first co-host and second co-host appeared tonight. Will I be permitted to make further comment at future work sessions or board meetings?
Absolutely. You've been here before for board meetings and work sessions to make.
No, well, you just said that tonight I couldn't make any comments about short-term rentals.
Oh, because we
so
have
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, yes, you're more than welcome to come to the 2 weeks, the days our next board meeting. I'm sorry.
But the 11th of December.
The 11th of December, so.
Got it, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on.
You had one more.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Of course, John Marniak, Ridge Road. Just, I had 2 items we're gonna address 4, okay? First off, if you look at the agendas for the work sessions and the town board meetings, there's always a section in there for resident comments or statements or whatever. God knows I've been before this board many times because of that, okay? And second of all, as far as this gentleman is concerned here, you know, I understand with the planning board, you know, when they get into a controversial issue, it seems to me that their decision is to kick the can up to the town board. So, you know, that could be coming for you, sir. The other thing too is he brought up about legacy. You know, Francie Delmonte brought up those issues about the legacy of your decisions during this term or whatever, and what impact it has down the road. You know, keep that in mind when you make these decisions. And that's my real topics. First off, the question is, what's going on with modern? You know, when they came in here and came up with this plan for the town of Lewiston, it sounded to me like it was going to be slam bam and we're off and running. Here we are at the end of November now. What's going on with this?
We're just waiting to hear when they're gonna enact their recycling program.
Is that what it is? It's there, it's not because of getting us recycle bins or anything like that?
Well, they already have the recycling bins, but it's basically when they enact the program. I mean, as far as our contract, they have the right to change the type of bin they use at their cost. It's in the contract. So we're just waiting on them.
I mean, one of the things, you know, I thought there might be a public hearing to look at the input from residents on it. I don't know if that ever happened, but, you know, my big concern has always been for families that they have multiple garbage cans out every week, you know, that are they limited to just one bin, because that's the way this contract is. The last thing I want to bring up, a question that I have is, you know, how many months ago did you guys kick off the town code review and possible updates and revisions to that? Has anything moved forward on that other than some studies or?
The building inspector, Mr. Morial, and myself have worked, and with Ed Zimmerman, we've worked on the town code extensively. It's not going to be an easy process. A lot of it has to do with legalities. So right now it's on the lawyer's desk, not Al Bax, but Seaman Norse. So yes, we are working on it, and it's going to take some time.
Well, I expected it would take some time, but you know, I'm just bringing it up in the public eye so that we don't drop the ball. That was one of my biggest things is not to shortchange this effort, because I think it is extremely important given the growth that this town has experienced, and a lot of the issues that have been uncovered in the current code of conflicting language and other things that need to get straightened out, somewhere down the road, and hopefully it's before, Tim retires, because I think he's got valuable input in this.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
All right, that's it.
Thank you, John. Okay, department head statements. We will start with Donna.
You all received a request for a waiver of the 30-day municipal notification for the Marlboro Kitchen and Bar located at 5894 Ward Road in Sanborn for a on-premise liquor license.
No objection, received and filed?
No, well, we do need to approve that you are allowing them to have the 30-day waiver because a letter needs to be forwarded to their liquor person.
Move for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the matter?
That's that standard thing that all the places do, like.
Yeah, but they're asking for a waiver of the
The notice.
Right. Usually, like the country club, they just notify us.
If there's a gap in continuous usage, it's gotta do it this way.
Okay.
It's,
Al, any issues? No. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Go ahead, John, I'm sorry.
I reached out to LAR Sound in Niagara Falls to letting them know that we needed some type of upgrade, overhaul, new system, something in this main meeting room. So they have given a proposal, and it's for a new amplifier, mixer, and installation, and they will check the existing microphones, wiring, and speakers as part of the installation. They did say that if, once they're in here and installing, they might run into something that might cause an extra expense. But their proposal estimate is for $3,998 for those 3 items. So I'm just asking for town board approval so we can move forward and you guys can be heard.
I'll make that motion to approve it.
We have a motion and a second. Now, this is one thing I just want to say that has been frustrating all along, that we don't hear well in here, but out in the hallway you hear well. So we want to get it redone. We get feedback. It's an outdated system. I mean, it's got to be, 20 years, 30 years old. So, yeah. So hopefully we get that issue taken care of.
Just sorry to interrupt, I would also maybe try to ask, because when you have somebody on the cell phone, that if we could hear them better as well. They might have a microphone or something like that. If you do sometimes get a lot of calls, so everybody here can hear it better.
So we have a motion and a second. All in
Can I
favor?
comment?
You go ahead.
I've been pushing for this for years, but it's gotta include enough mics for each of the tables. And so this is a starting point, but there's more that has to be done. Bill and Jackie need to be heard when it's appropriate. Bob and Al, everybody has to have a mic in their area. And if it can be tied to our camera that's up on the wall and Facebook, and have it all integrated together, it'd be a great step. But I won't be here to hear it, but it definitely needs to be improved.
We're gonna invite you back to hear it. No, because it's global limit. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, so, go ahead, Jim.
John and I spoke about it, and there's $4,000 that I could use from another account, A003310-0400-0000. If it comes that it goes over the 4,000, then we'll address the additional funding at that time. Okay?
Yeah.
Move for approval of transfer of funds as indicated by Jackie.
Second. We have motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Move actual vote on this.
Yeah. I just want to tell everybody on Zoom that I have about 10% of my power left. I'm trying to get it on my phone, so Jeff, we'll go to you real quick.
I don't have anything tonight, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Donna, do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. Linda Johnson has a letter here. She could not be here tonight. Dear Mr. Supervisor and council members, the term of Barbara Carter expires September 30th, 2023. She is a state certified member of the board and has been a competent member. I'm requesting that the board reappoint Barbara Carter for another term, October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2028. The State Board of Equalization and Assessment must be notified by the town clerk of any reappointment within 20 days of the date of the reappointment. Thank you for your time and consideration in this matter.
Make that a motion?
We have a motion second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I'm sorry, Donna, you were done? Okay. Tim, anything? No. Deputy Supervisor, anything? Our highway superintendent couldn't make it today. Bob, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Tim Smith.
Yeah, just, we had our first Town of Lewiston skate up at Niagara this past weekend. We hosted and sponsored that night. I have to say my first time doing that, I was pleasantly surprised. We had a ton of families out there, kids from all ages from 5 to 85. So it was a great turnout. I want to thank Mr. Jacoby and Mr. Guyman for coming out. We just had to give one game misconduct, and that was to Mr. Guyman, so it was all good. So they came out pretty good. Our next skate, Bank on Buffalo, is going to sponsor our next skate, which is the 8th. So come on out there, the Friday the 8th. And we have plenty of activities going on through the holidays, starting Thursday, card making, electric light parade. We're involved with on Sunday. Our Breakfast with Santa's coming up. Gingerbread making contest is coming up. Cookie baking, it's all for our Town of Lewiston residents. Please look us up on Town of Recreation, Facebook.com, or get a hold of me personally, answer any questions anybody has. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So Melinda Ola couldn't make it tonight, so she has her newsletter for the senior center. I just wanted to go over a couple of dates. They have their Christmas lunch will be served on Wednesday, December 20th. It's been a huge success. Please call if you plan on attending. The center will be closed and no meals will be served on Monday, December 25th, Tuesday, December 26th, and Monday, January 1st. Their noon Year's Eve party will be Friday, December 29th at noon. Ring in the noon year and welcome 2024. If you haven't been to the senior center, please get there. It is outstanding. They're doing a great job down there. The parking lot gets fuller and fuller every time I go. Approval of the meeting minutes for the work session on November 13th.
Move for approval as printed. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Audit payment, Councilman Guyman.
This is a motion for approval. I move to approve the regular abstract of claims of 23-03134 through 23-03239. The recommended payment of $902,269.94, plus the post audit of $5,934.50.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
That's my last time to do it.
All right. That'll last. It's coming up. Yeah. Nothing under pending old business. New business, any residents, public correspondence, nothing? Supervisor Broderick, carryover vacation. We have a letter from the judges, Sheeran and G, all town board members. We are requesting authorization to carry over any remaining vacation from Maria Sicarella and Patty Yackis. This will be used anytime during 2024 at their discretion. I won't read the next. And it would be a hardship for the department if Maria and Patty would have to take their remaining vacation within the first 3 months of 2024, which is usually the norm that we would approve. I think we all know the extending circumstances I'm not going to get into. I would ask to approve the remaining vacation carryover, and they can use it anytime in the year 2024.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Your motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Jackie, budget revisions?
Yes, I previously submitted 4 budget revisions for the fiscal year 2023 in your board packets, and I ask for approval of those 4 budget revisions tonight.
I had an opportunity to talk to Jackie about the 4 revisions, and I move for approval as printed.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Councilman Guyton?
Well, I really had nothing on my agenda, but I would like to make a statement. I believe I was misquoted in regards to dealing with short-term rentals by the end of the year. I believe I said in the casual conversation with Amy, which I regret having. I've been on a relationship where we correspond in writing. I believe I said the only way I could get to vote on it is if it faces the board before the end of the year. And most likely it's not gonna happen, so I will not have an opportunity to give my official vote for short-term rentals. And there's few people around that are as active as I am in public service that would have input for this topic, but that's not gonna happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Jacoby?
I just wanted to comment on the ice skating Tim put on. And, you know, obviously the town sponsors, beautiful job over there. All the kids seem to have a good time and it's a good program. That's all. Thank you.
For the second year in a row, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Councilman Morial?
Yeah, 2 things on my agenda. We have a sewer refund for Sherry Schmill at 1215 Swan Road. She had a full replacement liner done and the sewer refund was granted by our Lewiston sewer use agreement, and it's recommended for approval for the amount of $82.23.
Second. We have a motion and a second. I spoke with Jeff Ritter. This meets the code. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Then the second thing is a resolution for the adoption and implementation of standardized equipment at the town of Lewiston Water Pollution Control Center. How should I read it into the record?
You may as well.
Whereas the town of Lewiston has recently completed phase 1 of various infrastructural improvements to the town of Lewiston Water Pollution Control Center, and whereas phase 2 of said infrastructural improvements is currently being designed by the town's engineer in collaboration with the Water Pollution Control Center. Whereas the town recognizes, given the nature of services provided to the residents by the Water Pollution Control Center, the necessity and the value of creating a design that is both redundant and resilient in an effort to ensure that there are no interruptions to the operation of the Water Pollution Control Center. Whereas in furtherance of this desire, the town wishes to standardize the equipment utilized between phases 1 and phase 2 of said Water Pollution Control Center improvement projects. And whereas it's recognized that standardization will result in a true savings to the town, allowing them to maintain only one set of replacement parts and avoiding an unnecessary staff training. Now therefore, being it resolved by the town of Lewiston Board, that the Water Pollution Control Center is hereby authorized and directed to utilize the equipment itemized and contained within the attached list titled Town of Lewiston Water Pollution Control Center, standardization of equipment, phase 2 of the infrastructural improvements currently being undertaken at the Water Pollution Control Center.
That's a motion. Can we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's it. Motion carried. Councilman Myers?
Nothing other than just want to thank you to the highway for finishing up the fall cleanup. We have the Christmas lights.
Good. They're all up in Sanborn? Awesome. Upcoming board commission meetings, real quick. Work session December 11th at 6 p.m. Historic preservation December 12th at 5:45 p.m. Environmental Commission December 12th at 7 p.m. Zoning Board of Appeals December 14th at 6:30 p.m. Planning Board at 6:30 p.m. And resident statements. Anybody wish to speak at the meeting? Anything from the Boy Scouts? Yeah. Anything from the Boy Scouts?
We're good tonight.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
I actually wasn't planning on speaking, but, Joe, you know, 5099 Bronson, most of you guys know who I am. With regard to the development off of Upper Mountain there, there's really nothing we can do now, the genie's out of the bottle on that. But there is some concern amongst some of the, people on Bronson with regard to the construction equipment going in and out. Now, listen, listen. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know. This is not being driven by me. But
No,
when something happens,
it's right.
I don't know why, but they get a hold of me.
Yeah.
And the
You
straw that
know
broke the
why?
camel's
So
back.
we
The straw
talked to
that broke
Tim.
the camel's back
No,
was when I'm at my camp and my cell phone rings and it's one of my
We
neighbors.
talked to Tim, he's gonna notify them.
Okay.
No, every truck should go through
Right, I
construction.
mean,
I'm in
a lot
agreement
of
with
money
you.
was spent to put that road in.
Yep.
And the bottom line was, I believe that was over safety concerns.
Yep.
Because there's no sidewalks on Bronson.
Right. And you,
So-
I mean, obviously you understand if they're gonna get the occasional truck, but if they're doing it regularly, they need to be notified.
Well-
They go through the construction.
Well, it appears as though that, you know, not much construction has taken place yet, but it's gonna start sooner or later.
Yeah.
And it's only gonna
No,
increase.
I agree 100%.
So when something goes south, I don't know why, my
No,
neighbors
I-
have selected me. They bang on my door, they text me, and they call me.
No, I think it was, you said something, Susan, right? And you said something to Tim, you talked to John.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm not gonna use the word, you call me.
But, well,
I don't.
John, I know you'll answer the phone.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I had some questions, regarding the bins, like, that just came to me now, with, the recycling bins
Yep.
or the garbage bins.
The recycling bins is phase one. So
Which
the only thing they're talking about now is the recycling bins.
So that's the 90-gallon green
Totes.
lid?
95 or 65.
Oh, well, because I currently already own, I purchased the regular blue lid bin.
Yep.
Actually, I got 2 of them now, because, I don't have anywhere to throw my leaves or my grass clippings. There used to be this beautiful woods near my house that's gone. So now I have to throw that stuff in the garbage. So I actually purchased 2 of the
Well, the
blue.
leaves you can put in front of your house and the town pick them.
Right, right, so, and I know that a letter went out for, with regard.
On that corner.
Right, right.
They're
but
piled up there.
Yeah, I got one.
Yep.
And I don't know how many other residents received that letter, but, they bitched to me about it. I don't know why, so.
Hopefully we can get rid of the no dumping sign, because that looks,
But
like
with
that,
regards
too.
to the bins,
Yep.
so everybody on Bronson's gonna get one?
Everybody will get a 95 gallon unless you say you want a smaller one.
What about the 2 I already have? Does that mean I'm gonna have 3 now?
Well, yeah, well, those will be for garbage.
The blue
The
lid.
green one, the green lid one will be for recycling. If you don't want to receive a free one,
No, I do.
yeah.
No, I do.
Yeah.
Just because, well. the-
From what I understand, if you put 2 out there and they're official
Yeah.
modern bins, they'll pick both of them up.
If they'll take 3.
I believe they will. As long as they're out there, you put them up, they'll boom, boom, boom.
Right,
Yep.
right. That was pretty much all I had to say, was, I just wanted to make sure that, with regards to that road, I mean, you know, there's safety concerns, and I think that was that's what spurred that road on, was, you know, the heavy equipment coming in and out, and I, you know, my primary concern is the safety of
Yep.
so.
No, I agree 100%. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yep, yep.
Yes. So, we're gonna make a motion to go into executive session with no action being taken to consult the
Consultation with
attorney, and we will not be coming back out here. Yes, sir.
Just one thing. My grandson wanted to say something. Peter Nagy from 140 South Fifth Street, Lewiston here. Yeah, there's been a lot of speeding going on, and quite a concern in the village itself. And we were wondering, is there a way to, do I talk to you, or do I talk to the village about getting like a slow to a place sign or something like that?
Well, if it was in the village, it would be in the village.
In the village, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can always call the police and let, you know, and, you know, make a speeder's complaint and,
Yeah,
they'll
there's
send
been
patrol.
several people figure that South Fifth Street, which is maybe about 150 feet long, people feel that they have a need to get the stop sign very quickly. They've been doing 40, 45 in a 25 zone, so it's been, and I try to make a couple of drivers aware as they drive by to slow down, and some have given me their comments by, physically give me a comment once in a while. Oh yeah, like they showed me their IQ, yeah, basically. And so it's been an ongoing process. It's more towards the summer than in the winter. But even in the winter months, some people they feel that I guess they gotta get to that pizza or wherever they're going faster. There's been a bit of speeding going on around South Fifth Street and around the playground area around St. Peter's and so forth. So it's just keep an eye on it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and should I get a motion to move into executive session?
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good night, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.